Well, g'day everyone and welcome to the very first YouTube video of Simple Film Studios, where today we got a lot to talk about and something that is probably one of my favorite topics, the Sony ZV-1. I have this guy, which I've kind of turned into Frankenstein, that I have been using for quite some time. Now, I've built out what I believe is the ultimate Sony ZV-1 rig, and I'm going to show you how I built it and what the purpose of every single one of these functions are and why you might need them in your setup. You see, the Sony ZV-1 is an incredibly powerful camera, except I wasn't using it to its potential. Being a novice, I'm not a professional videographer, but I just didn't take the time to actually learn the camera itself and what it was capable of. When I dove into it and I found out all of the accessories and all of the attachments and everything that I could potentially use to make my videos better, I was simply blown away, and as you can see, this is what it's turned into. Pretty cool, huh? So it all started really from adding a Ulanzi wide-angle lens to the Sony ZV-1, but I'm going to talk about that a little later. More importantly than that, what I do, and to explain why I've gone this way, I need to explain what I do. So my other YouTube channel is a YouTube golf channel where I film a whole lot of golf content, except I was using the Sony ZV-1 with no attachments, no nothing, just straight on a tripod, which was still pretty good, but it lacked its potential because it had so much more to offer that I just wasn't utilizing. Now, what I've built out is I've gone and got myself a newer cage, which is a cage that you can fit pretty much any camera size in. It's a universal camera cage, but it's really cool because it already comes with all the bits that you need, such as the rods, the camera cage, a whole bunch of screws here on the top where you can mount stuff to, aka all this stuff, which I'm going to get to in a second. And also you can add this black box, or a matte box, which I would recommend anybody getting who's going to be filming in harsh light. I do have an ND filter on, but the problem with the golf course is when you've got that light shining directly into the camera or directly across the camera, even with an ND filter, it still has those streaks and you kind of miss the person who's actually hitting the golf shot. So this matte box has the visors. I can position them wherever I want to get that sun glare off the screen. Then the ND filter can do its job correctly and I have a really good quality image using this gear. Okay, so the next thing is I don't particularly, when I've got this kind of rig, I don't particularly want to be trying to change the batteries all the time, because then I've got to undo this, pull the camera off, disconnect the Raven eye, add the battery in, and that becomes quite cumbersome. So what I've done is I've added another 1/4" screw there. It's just a male 1/4" screw. I think they're small rig screws, and just a phone holder. So the phone holder now holds my external battery charger here, which can charge this for hours and hours and hours, and I can literally go through a whole round, have this plugged in just with a simple USB-C to, the multi-cable. That's going to keep the camera charging with only one battery in there. I don't have to change any batteries, I don't have to take extra batteries with me, and I can film a whole golf round without any worries at all, just because that battery is there. Now, I get it, this may not be the most handsome looking power bank that you've ever seen. There are much prettier ones, the Sony ones are fantastic, but this is what I had and it's worked perfectly fine. I didn't have to pay for it. The next thing, which is super cool, and really I think is quite imperative now that I've started using it, is this small rig phone cage. So the small rig phone cage fits my iPhone in here just fine. So I have an iPhone 12 Pro Max. I'm using an iPhone 13 Pro Max small rig cage and it fits perfectly. But basically my iPhone goes in there, and the purpose of using this is I can add an extra light on here. I can actually, if I turn this on, I can actually add, they've got small cold shoots here as well. I can add them like side by side, so you can have a whole row of them. And then I can add audio on the top if I wanted to, although I've got the audio on the camera. But this is really imperative because when you've got a rig like this, the Sony ZV-1 has a very small screen. So the very small screen in the harsh sunlight, even if you don't have the cage, is hard to see. So I've rigged my phone up here, which connects to this Raven eye wirelessly, and that gives me a monitor so that if I want to pull this straight off the tripod and actually film some stuff, if my partners are hitting shots and give it that more cinematic look in the vlogs, I can do that and I can monitor this from the monitor rather than this tiny little screen. Let me show you how it works. So the Raven eye that I've got came with the RSC2 Pro combo that I was given by my mate Paulie. Shout out to Paulie, absolute legend, more like a brother really. Anyway, so it's really quick to connect. You basically just wait for the Wi-Fi signal to come through. That's come through now. I've now connected it, and then I'm going to open up the DJI Raven eye app. And now what you're going to see is that this, if I flick it that way so you guys can see, now acts as a monitor, and you can see my handsome face through my iPhone. I hope that I've got that iPhone in case for you. So I do have the ND filter on, so it might be very dark here. I'm not really sure what this lighting is like, but you can see that now acts as a monitor, which is really cool because I can hold it, run it and gun it, and I'm looking here. Those matte boxes were in the way. The next reason why I absolutely love this cage is because I can run and gun, I can have it on a tripod, this is a newer tripod here, or I can take it off and I can actually film. So, if I'm about to go and hit a shot from a T-box and I want it stable, obviously if I'm the one hitting the T-box, I want to trust my tripod over somebody else that's doing the videography. So I've got the camera there on the tripod, but then if I'm on the green, say somebody that I'm playing with or against is going to be having a putt, I can go, great, boom, I'm just going to take this straight off, I'm going to get those film shots and I'm going to get them sinking the putts. Really, really cool. Again, that comes with the cage. It just makes it so awesome. All right, now into the Sony ZV-1 itself. So, if you're getting into vlogging in 2023, even though this camera is a few years old, you definitely need to check out the Sony ZV-1. I use this all the time, even now. I use it in low light settings, I use it in harsh settings, I use it all sorts of places, and I absolutely love it. I think it's pretty much fit for most situations. The only thing that it can't do, which I really wish that it would be able to do, is 4K 60p, but it doesn't. So if you're gonna get YouTube videos going, this is the camera to take a look at. So what I've got on here is I have the newer half cage. So this is a half cage. I think this is pretty much all you need. But that being said, if you are going to be using a gimbal with this camera, more so than this style of cage, then you might want the full cage because that gives you options on the top where you can add different stuff. You can screw in those screw points like I mentioned. You can have lights and shoots and all of that, and it looks really, really cool. But in terms of what I need, this is absolutely perfect. Then we got this guy, which is an attachment. That's a Ulanzi lens that goes on here. So let's talk about that. So the Ulanzi wide angle lens gives you a wide angle lens. It also gives you the macro lens, and you can create great shots like this. So moving on from that, we now have the audio, and the audio I think is one of the most important parts in any camera. Now I'm using the DJI audio here, which I've got the DJI Osmo Pocket 2 that's actually filming this because this is my main camera, so that's the second camera that we're filming from today. But here I have the Rode Wireless Go mic attached there. Now I absolutely love this mic. My wife bought this mic for me and it has served its purpose tremendously well, especially if you're doing a lot of individual vlogs. If it's just you, you're going out there vlogging, get yourself one of these. If not, you can get like a little shotgun mic, which I do have here as well. But I just find that the small shotgun mics on these ones, whilst they're good, they still bring in quite a lot of ambient noise, and I know that you can correct that and adjust that a little bit. But just for easy use, if you just want to put it on, just want to plug and play, make things easy for yourself, get one of these Rodes or even one of these DJI mics because they're fantastic. You can hear the quality that's coming through here, and it's basically unedited. I mean, I increased the volume a little bit and I reduced the background noise a little bit, but that's it. The last thing on the list, which has actually become really important for me, is this newer cage. So I got the newer half cage. I didn't necessarily see the point in doing the full cage because with the full cage, I can go and throw that on there. Although I will say that if you want to use this on a gimbal like the RSC2 or the RS3 or now the RS3 Mini, which has just come out, a full cage would serve its purpose because then you can add little things across the top there as well. It has those screw mounts for that, so that would be good for that. But I have the half cage here, which is the newer one. Cold shoe mounts here, and on the bottom it has 6 screw ports, and it's going to give you the space to be able to open that battery slot whilst you put it onto a tripod, which is really, really good because you can have your quick release plate there. You can still access your batteries if you don't have an external battery charger, or if you're just taking this out vlogging and you don't want to go and lug it on that big thing, so you just want literally a gimbal or you just want a vlogging tripod or something like that, then you're going to need your extra batteries. This is a really good thing. You just pop them in, you pop them out, you can access your SD cards, simple as you like. So guys, that's it from me today. I hope that you like that. If you do, slap a like on there for me, subscribe to the channel, let me know your thoughts, what I can improve on. Like I said, I'm just starting out on this journey here, and it's been really fun learning a whole lot of this stuff, so I'm just sharing it with you guys. If you got any tips, feel free to throw them there in the comments. I'd really appreciate that. It's only going to help. So thanks guys, have a great day. I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.